What's up everybody, Tendo here, and I just want to know before we get started, do you think I look rested and relaxed? No, I don't. I look like a 50-year-old man. That's because I just got back from a vacation, in which we were supposed to go camping at night, and then during the day we were supposed to rest and relax. Are you sensing a theme here? Well, we went camping. That was a success. We drove a couple hours north of Phoenix, which is where we live, to a town called Flagstaff, and we camped out. But instead of resting and relaxing during the day, we went thrift shopping. And that's what this video is. It's another thrift haul. This time, Flagstaff edition. Alright, a brand new city to go thrifting in means a brand new Goodwill bins. If you've watched any of my videos at all, you know all about the Goodwill bins. It's a Goodwill where tons and tons of leftover stuff from the other Goodwills, as well as overstock from the other Goodwills that hasn't even been gone through yet, all get wheeled out in these giant bins, and you get to dig through all of it and then pay for it by weight. So this is a new one that I haven't put on my channel before. This is the one up in Flagstaff, Arizona. And if you've watched my other videos, or if you know anything about Goodwill bins, you'll know that this one already looks much smaller than the one in Phoenix. But that's alright, because all of these Goodwill bins, they're all a little bit different. They all do things in a different way. They all roll out different stuff at different times. You just got to get into these Goodwill bins and get used to them as quick as you can. Jump in with the other locals that shop there and dig through this trash and take something nice home. So I'm just walking around the edge of this one here, and this is one of the first things that's immediately much different from my home Goodwill bins. All of the electronics and stuff that isn't clothes and books, they put in the bins around the room. And I used to think that maybe they just refilled them at the beginning of the day, and that's the only time they refilled them, but there was not much in them today, and the whole time we were there, a couple hours, they didn't put anything in them. All we really saw them rotate in and out was a few things of clothes. Here's the first video game of the day. Glad to see there's at least some video games here. It is a copy of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And there you can see Hannah to my right, digging away at the clothes. I'm happy they have books, and the books have video games in them. Like here, this no-disc copy of Just Dance 4. That's alright, I need extra Wii cases. I need a few replacements. But it sucks when these books are piled so high, because you just can't get through them. I'm sure there were plenty more games there this day that I left without. Look at it. That's my man, Patrick Stump. Big fan. Any other Fall Out Boy fans out there? I believe that photo was from his solo career he had a few years ago, which went alright. He made some good music during that time. Here's a Sabretooth comic.
Goodies.
You little bag of treasures.
A little cherry pin. They're below 24 inches. Ooh, they are just big enough.
What a goofball. Back to digging here. I just kept coming back and forth to these books. Every time I'd get tired, drops these. I'd leave the books and go dig through something else, and I'd come back and find something else. Like this here Skylanders book. I am an avid Skylanders collector, so if it says Skylanders on it, I'm buying it. Digging through the toys, and what abomination is this? Look at this Tommy doll. I don't know why it's so freaky. One of its eyes is yellowed, but the other isn't, but it freaked me out. Oh, that's awesome. Back to the books again. I'm telling you, I came back and forth here 100 times. Ooh, a My Sims party game, and it's all there. We'll buy. Dig. These bins are twice as deep as the ones at home. And there's a no-disc copy of Wii Play, but as I've already said, I need more Wii cases. So I'll go ahead and take that. I'm not really paying much for them, at least not enough to worry about it. And then you got to look through the CDs in case there's a video game. Just a little Green Day. And then here we go. At first, I thought this was a 2-disc game missing one of its discs, and I was a little bummed out. But as you look closer right here, there's nowhere actually to put a second disc. That doesn't hold on to discs. It's just there. I don't know. I guess because it has 2 books, this is a 2-disc case to hold on to both books, but it's only 1 disc. So that was a great find. Love finding PlayStation 1 games. Don't love finding sports games so much. I don't mind finding loose manuals like that one. because I find games without their manuals all the times at the bins. And here I saw these controllers. They were PlayStation controllers, and I thought, well, there's going to be game stuff in here, so I kept digging, and look at the excitement. A Nintendo N64 controller, a gray one, which I don't have, actually. I don't have the gray one. And as you saw there, the last thing I found right before I left the bins was a copy of Pokemon Leaf Green. And then on to the next thrift store now, Savers. This is the only Savers in Flagstaff. We've got 4 or 5 of them here in Phoenix, but this is the only one there. That's kind of exciting. So I went straight to the games, and there were quite a few of them. I was happy. I was afraid there only being one Goodwill and one Savers in town, that there's probably somebody in town like me that goes every day and picks them all, but didn't look to be the case, because there were quite a few games to go through. Matter of fact, I had to check through the games a few times, because as I kept walking around the store, one of the workers kept bringing games out and putting them up on the shelf. So I checked here a few times and found a Kingdom Hearts game for PS3. There were a handful of DS games here at first, but nothing I saw that I wanted. And then when I came back later, a worker had put these DS games out. There were a few more that I definitely wanted, including that Mario game, which I already had but didn't have in its case, so I'm happy to buy it again with its case. But they were all mixed up. The Mario game was in the Grand Theft Auto case, and then the Grand Theft Auto game wasn't actually there. And I don't even remember what this was that was in the Mario case, so I had to switch them all around. I even put back the ones I wasn't going to buy just so the next guy has it easier than me. Roaming around the rest of the store, just making sure I'm not missing nothing, because this store is organized a little bit different than I'm used to. I wasn't really sure where everything was. I kind of had to look hard to find the electronics, because they were tucked back here in this back corner. So I went and gave them a quick once over, and really the only thing I saw was this new Sega Genesis. It's a bit of an emulator machine. It has games built in, but it will also play the cartridges, but it's not the one that's shaped like a tiny original Sega Genesis. So I was a little bit interested, but because I do have one of those, but I don't have it boxed. But the price was really high. It was about $40, and we did have a 20% off coupon, but that's just not enough. Still too much. So I'm happy to find this Super Mario 64 game. What we got?
Whole lot of nothing. Ceiling's falling down.
It's rip. Yeah, that was rough. And then this is some stuff right up beside the front door right before you go out. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Not really seeing anything I want. I already have 2 pairs of those headphones. Those are the ones I use for streaming. Which, by the way, if you're interested in checking out our streams, there's a link below. This is the only Goodwill in town, which is exciting. So the first thing I did was walk in and check the place out. I couldn't really find any lock boxes up front, and then I kept walking and I kept walking, and it turns out their lock boxes are right back here behind the registers, which I've never seen before, but that's cool. Jewelry on the front, around the back, and then there's all the other stuff. And this is where there was a few games, some computer components, few Game Boy Advance games there. Lots of Leapstar. I don't remember which it is. Not collecting those. There's a graphics card in the lockbox there that I really, really wanted, and it was only $60. It was a 1060. I have a 1050 Ti on my computer, and not that this one really would have given me much of a boost, but I have a second computer, my streaming rig. It would have been nice to have put it in, but I, even as we were leaving town, thought about driving back and picking it up, because $60 was a good price. It would cost me a couple $100 to buy one used, but I didn't end up buying it. But I did end up buying a huge handful of games here, because there was a lot of stuff. Not only was there a lot of stuff already right here on the shelf, that cart that I just rolled out of the way was a big thing of fresh games and DVDs, and there's a lot of games in there too, but we'll get to that in a second. Got to find something here that I want. A lot of random stuff. There was a lot of Xbox 360. There's a handful of PC games too, which I'm also not collecting those. Frogger for PS2. Just keep going. it just kept getting better as I went. Lord of the Rings there. I had to go over these several times. King Kong, Spider-Man, Greatest Hits. I already had this, but not the Greatest Hits edition, but sometimes I go all the way through all the games once, kind of get a feel for what's there, and then go back through them again and pick out what I'm going to get. Because you just never know. Sometimes if you find an expensive game, you just got to leave the cheap ones there and don't spend too much money and keep moving. Not much in the first basket, and it looks like there's a ton of stuff here in the second basket. God of War. A triple disc Mass Effect. That was really cool. And it was still just marked $2.99 like the rest of the games. More PlayStation 2. Some Star Wars Lego Greatest Hits. There's that Ratchet and Clank. 2 or 3 games in one. Flip through the rest of these. Seen a lot of stuff I already have. But I've never been so lucky, I don't think, as of yet, to run out on baskets and baskets full of new games freshly rolled out into the store. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. And then I ended up finding a handful of Xbox One games, which is cool, especially when they're marked $2.99. Can't go wrong with that. And that was all that, so I moved on to the electronics. And there's lots of stuff here. Didn't turn out to be tons of game stuff, but I always like it when you got to dig through the shelves to find the gaming stuff. There were some PlayStation controllers. Not in the market for those. Then I don't even know what that was. Aftermarket PlayStation. Look at all this stuff. Stuff. Keyboards. Don't need any of those. Music keyboards. Don't need any of those. Look at those stacked couches. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, this being the only Goodwill in town, it looks like it stays pretty stocked. This Goodwill had more stuff on every shelf than any Goodwill back in Phoenix. So I'll definitely keep that in mind and stop back through here on my way through next time I'm passing through. More PlayStation controllers. And then we went to a little mom and pop thrift shop. This place was like a maze. You had to climb over stuff to get anywhere. Again, must have just been a condition of being one of the only few thrift stores in town. And I didn't have high hopes coming in here, but you got to stop check anyways. Aftermarket GameCube controller. Not interested. I double, triple checked these shelves looking for games, and there weren't any. Just DVDs and CDs. Here's an auction they have. Harley bag chess set. I don't even know what this stuff is, but silent auction. Write down how much you'll give. Come back and see if you won. I guess a good way to get people to keep coming back. Books. I thought, oh, maybe there'll be some games over here, but I peeked in all the aisles. There were not. Lots of random furniture just tucked in everywhere for you to jump and climb over. And another additional room. I don't even know what was in here specifically. Just more stuff. I try to be diligent and walk past everything in the thrift shop just in case. This rolling keyboard was pretty cool, but I am not in the market for a keyboard. Vinyl. No thanks. That's another rabbit hole I don't need to go down. I don't need to start collecting vinyl, though I think about it all the time. I went back over to the DVD stand again, and I found the 1-2 video games in the whole place tucked over there, but they were PC games. Didn't see them the first time around. But again, that's why you got to double check. Who knows what they could have been. Found anything?
No.
I haven't
It's
found
not right, but no.
pretty much nothing even remotely close to gaming related. And here we are trying to get out of here, not having an easy time at it. And, oh, the door is over here. There were some books back in that corner, but it was blocked off by cat scratching posts, so skip those on the way out. Here's another one we stopped at. We have one of these in town, and I know going in here there's not going to be a lot of games and all this. This is a place that just resells both furniture as well as like leftover construction supplies, so you can get some building materials on the cheap. But I still check these out if I have the chance because I need a handful more of specific IKEA shelves, but I will not pay full price for them. I wait till they show up in thrift stores, and there's always a good chance that they show up at these restores. But it doesn't look like I'm seeing anything that fits the bill today. There's one more room, and this is where they keep all those construction supplies. I've bought some shelves out of these before for like, garage and storage. It's a really good place to get them. If you need any stuff like that, maybe look them up and see if you have one near you. It's a great place to buy that kind of stuff. Or wood for the odd wood project. But yeah, nothing here. Struck out on this one. Struck out on the last one. See if we can regain our luck on the next one and not have a full strikeout. We just rolled up to this thrift shop and there was absolutely no parking, so we had to park around the block. And here's the last parking spot on the block. Look at this. Yellow, 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 yellow. Red. Right on the line. Right on the line.
Squeezed on in.
Yet another mom and pop one. Though this place seemed to be really popular, we could not find a parking spot. And then you walk in the door and bam! Look at all this. All this line. I don't know the last time I stood in a line that long at a thrift store, but I don't think this town has more than about 5 thrift stores, whereas Phoenix has, I don't know, couldn't begin to count. So many thrift stores, way more than 5. But I went on in, went straight to the DVDs, didn't see a single video game. I checked every shelf, nothing. Take a quick lap around the rest of the store. Lots of clothes. I'd say the store was 80% clothes. Went back in this corner where the toys were. And everything just seems old. Just nothing new. It was really strange, actually, how everything in the store seemed like it was just from the past. This I was excited about, but I already have this oversized plush Red Ranger. I would love to have found one of those of the color I don't have. I have the red one and the white one on that large size. And I have a couple of the other ones in the smaller size, but I already have him. I'm not going to buy him again. Arts and crafts section. This is where your grandma shops. Send your grandma here. Clothes. Look, clothes, clothes, clothes. It's always interesting going in these mom and pop thrift shops. I mean, you will find stuff. We used to go to the mom and pops when we would travel up and down the coast in California when we lived there. We'd always find some neat stuff, but not finding anything here today. And more clothes. Clothes, clothes, clothes. Little outdoor furniture. I'm ready to get out of this one. So let's go find Hannah. Tell her, let's get out of here. Anything?
Potentially. I mean, everything's $1, so it's kind of tempting to go ahead and just grab some stuff, but I'm trying to be picky. Backing on up.
And look at this. As we were in here shopping, the line got even longer. I had trouble getting out of here. I said, excuse me, very loudly to this guy a few times. He just wouldn't move. I don't know if he's hard-hearing or I don't know. But I escaped. Wow, did you see that line? That was the most happening thrift store I've been in a long time. And the funny thing about that, I don't know if you could tell from the footage, but that looked like thrift stores looked like when I was a kid. Like, all the stuff in there was from the era where it was already old in 1997. Here comes Hannah.
I saw a backpack I liked, but then I decided it wasn't worth it, so I ran after you. I'm here now.
I think I speak for everyone watching when I say that was embarrassing.
I don't run good.
All right, let's play a game of will my van still be there or will it be towed? What do you think? Ooh, we're good. Now, let's play the next round of this game. Will there be a ticket? I didn't see any street signs, but we are parked right in front of a school. Nah, we're good. Let's go. This is the second thrift store with a less than stellar parking situation. Somebody's pulling out though, we might be all right. I kid you not, this is the only open parking space, the whole place.
Look.
By this point, we were about ready to call it quits, but Hannah was looking at her GPS and said, oh, there's a St. Vincent de Paul here. And we don't shop much at the St. Vincent de Paul in Phoenix because much like this one, they don't have much that we want to look at. But we decided to stop anyways, just because we're never up here. We might as well see if there's anything. And there was a surprising amount of games, considering I don't think I've ever seen any games at the St. Vincent de Paul near my house. And the prices here were a little bit confusing because there was not really a sign that said how much games were. It just said DVDs, couple bucks. And so that's not a bad price if the games are complete. So I dug through here and found a few. And there's quite a few here missing their manuals that I left behind. And then another Xbox One game, which is just kind of crazy, I think, but I don't know. Maybe it is getting to the end of the Xbox One and PS4's life cycle, so maybe it's not so crazy. Games are finally starting to show up at thrift shops. But I went through the rest of the store real quick. I saw that the toys were tucked over here, and I get excited anytime I see Hot Wheel tracks. I'm saving those up for a future project, but these were a bit high and not a ton of regular tracks in there, so I wasn't interested. And that toy section was blocked off, I guess to keep kids out of there. I don't know. But there were some computer games and stuff over here. I was hoping to find a PlayStation 1 game tucked in there, but there didn't turn to be it. Turned out there was nothing worth my time. And then on the way home, we were headed straight home. We were done thrifting. We remembered this Goodwill is so far outside of town we never get to go to it, so we stopped at it on the way home. And I walk in the front door, and what is the first thing I see? A Nintendo 64 with 2 controllers marked for $30. I'm always happy to see this kind of thing in a thrift store. $30 is a little bit high for me because when I shop at the Goodwill bins and find them there, I pay for them $1.39 per pound, so they're like less than $2. But I am way more interested in collecting the controllers, and I don't have those, so I had to walk around the store and think about whether or not I was going to get it. So over here at the electronics, there's an Xbox over there. Couldn't find a price on it. I wasn't really interested enough to go ask what the price would be. The rest of the stuff on the shelf looks all to be aftermarket. A lot of aftermarket PlayStation 2 controllers. There's an aftermarket GameCube controllers. I never understood those controllers. Those are so small. My hands are quite large. I would be very fed up after about 5 minutes of playing with them. Texas Instruments calculator, but not one that's fancy enough to be worth anything. Go walk through the rest of the store. They had a rather large book and DVD section, which is always nice to see. The more of that there is, usually the more games. Checking the toys on the way over there. Just make sure there's no Skylanders. I'd love to have bought some Skylanders today, but didn't come across any. Here we go. First thing, Simpsons. Road Rage. Platinum hits for the original Xbox. I knew immediately that I would buy that. Duck Dynasty, skip every time. Fable 2, lots of sports games. I usually only buy sports games at the bins because that's really all that shows up there. There's no need to buy them in the regular store. The 6,000th SpongeBob game I've seen this month. The 7,000th DDR game that I've seen this month. I've bought a lot of them too. The 1 bazillionth Shrek game I've seen. If you've seen any of my recent videos, I've bought a lot of Shrek games recently. Bolt, missing manual. Tekken, also missing manual. That one would have been worth buying had it not been missing its manual. X-Men, super worth it. $3, we'll take. More sports games, more Wii games. Pass those up. Original Xbox, Shadow Ops, Dead or Alive. I've seen a few copies of that recently. I have all of those 007 games, so no need to take a look at that. Sports. DS, Tangled, $2.99, pass. Another Xbox One game, though I didn't buy that one. That Fallout was a PC game, so I'm not really interested in that. I saw these and thought that maybe they were Disney Infinity characters. They are not. They're just Aladdin figures. And then this old arcade, tiny arcade that Hannah found. I know there are sometimes these small arcades are worth something, but this was not one of them. I looked it up on my phone. I would not have been interested in collecting it myself, but if it were worth anything for trade-in value or resale value, I could trade it up and get some video games in exchange for it, but that didn't happen today. I was so tired I wasn't really even interested in checking the toys, but since we saw that, I was like, well, I better go ahead and walk through all of them. There just wasn't a lot. But that's okay, because there was a lot of games there, and that's really all I'm interested in. If you can see here, I actually ended up getting this PlayStation for $24 because we had a 20% off coupon. $24 for an N64, a Glacier controller, and a Blue controller. I'll take that. I told the lady at the counter I'll take that there, Nintendo. She goes, all right, what's your name? I'll put your name on it. I said, Dallas. And as I was walking away, she said, well, you don't look like a Dallas. I was already walking away, so I just laughed, but I missed a great opportunity to ask her what she thought I looked like. All right, everybody, we're back in the game room, and have you ever seen so much thrifting in your life? Whew, I'm worn out just thinking about it. First thing that I got, a loose manual for the Elder Scrolls on Xbox, and then a Skylander book, and then a Sabretooth comic. Straight from the era back when I actually read comic books regularly. It just made me a little nostalgic. Cut out in the front through which you see Sabretooth. They used to do a lot of that stuff back in the day. I don't know if they still do, because I don't read a lot of comic books these days, but it was like 5 cents, so I bought it. I'll read it. The next thing, what should we do next? I've got a bit of a surprise out here. Not really a surprise, but I'm going to save the best thing for last. The best thing for last is just sitting here off camera. So let's go through the games, and then we'll get to that. So game-wise, here is a copy of Pokemon Leaf Green. I don't even know if it's a legit copy. It could be a fake. It's definitely dirty and corroded. I got to take it apart and clean it and verify that it's real. It doesn't matter if it's real. But I found this at a Goodwill bins right before I was about to leave. We were checking out. I walked by a bin and I saw it down in the corner of a bin. So that was cool. A copy of NBA 09, the inside for PSP. I just bought it because it was a $2 PSP game. And I don't have a very large PSP collection at all. And when I say I don't have a very large PSP collection at all, I mean that's my first PSP game. So, gotta start somewhere. The next thing, and this is as exciting as it was disappointing, because it's a 2-disc game called RPG Maker. I'm not familiar with it, but I have seen it in a game store before and was quite curious about it. But it only has one of its discs. It's got that one. It's missing that one. It has both of its manuals, though. So, I don't know. If you know anything about this game, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I should really search out that disc and play it. If not, I'll just put it on the shelf and look at it. Next up, Super Mario 64 for the DS. I actually already had this game, but this was only a couple bucks, and it was all there. I only had the cartridge, but now I have the whole thing. I'll just pawn off the other copy on someone else. Maybe trade it in, get a little trade-in value. The obvious, Madden NFL 06. I probably already have 4 copies of this, but I ended up buying it because it was at the Goodwill bins, which means it was pennies instead of dollars. Madden 2001. Get the BS out of the way. And then Call of Duty Black Ops. I think this was the first game I picked up on this trip. It was also laying in the Goodwill bins. And then My Sims Party. I promise they get a little bit better after this. Pirates of the Caribbean for the Xbox. Nope. Complete. It's all there. I think I had a copy of this already, but it didn't have its manual. So I just picked up that one. Probably the 100th Shrek game that I found while making this series. Shrek's Carnival Craze. There's so many. There is an unbelievable number of Shrek games. It's crazy. This is awesome. Platinum Hits, Simpsons Road Rage for the Xbox. I think up until this point I had an empty case for this game, the regular edition, non-platinum hits. So now I have the whole thing. Awesome. DDR Max, Dance Dance Revolution. And then another awesome find, X-Men Legends for the PlayStation 2. Pretty happy about that. It's all there. I have very vague memories of playing this one. So I'll have to put that back in and see how much of it I remember. Lord of the Rings, Return of the Kings by EA Games. What is that? The EA... No, that's a Lord of the Rings seal of approval. Okay. Fancy stuff. And this I have no knowledge of. It's a Crash game. Crash Twin Sanity. If you know anything about this, let me know in the comments below if I should play it. I love Crash games. I've played a lot of them. I want to say I've played most of them. But what is this? Is this a spin-off? Is this just like a fighting game? I don't know. It looks like a fighting game. And this is one that Hannah was the most excited about. Kingdom Hearts 1.5. One of the in-between ones. Definitely one of the ones we don't have. As soon as we get all these assembled, we're going to make a bit of a playthrough video on them. So it was good to find that one. And then let me go ahead and grab all of these. I currently have, I can only see one. I think maybe I have a second. I currently only have 2 Xbox One games. I just raised that number to 5. It's not something I've been looking very hard to go after because, you know, those games are still pretty expensive right now. But I came home today with Fallout 76, the first couple of Wolfenstein games, and Mafia 3. And each one of those was only a couple bucks, so I had to pick them up. A couple more BS games, Lego Rock Band for Wii, though I had no idea this one existed. That's kind of funny. And then Monster High, Skulltimate Roller Maze. And the last 3 games are all PS3 games, which is great because it's another collection that I don't have many of. And these are actually all 3 games that I'll be very excited to play. God of War Ascension, good find, is all there. Ratchet and Clank, the whole collection. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I can't wait to play that. And then the Mass Effect trilogy. They're all 3 in here, which is cool because I don't at this moment own any of them. At least now that I can remember. I might, but it's getting to the point where I have enough games that I can't quite remember what all I have. I do have a spreadsheet to keep track of all that. If you're interested in looking at it, the link is below. I should look at it more often. I look at it when I'm in store and can't remember what I do and don't have, but I knew I didn't have this, so I'm happy to have that. And that is actually something I will play quite soon. All right, the last thing I found, last and certainly not least, I picked up an N64, and it has all of its cables. All right, last and most certainly not least, I found an N64 today. And this was so great because I started off the day finding this N64 controller. Perfect condition, the normal gray one. It's one of the colors I don't have, which is kind of funny because it's really the most common, but I don't have one. So I found it, I was like, oh, this is great. And then I found 2 Nintendo cables, which was even awesomer because I was digging around at the bins, and that just means that there's definitely an N64 somewhere around. You just got to dig for it. I dug and dug, and I didn't find the N64. So I'm probably going to have nightmares for a few weeks that it was there, and I just didn't work hard enough to find it. But we left and went back home, and we were about 45 minutes north of town, and there's this Goodwill all the way north of Phoenix that is so far away from us that we almost never go to it. So it was a perfect time to stop there. We didn't really want to because we were really tired, but we stopped anyways, and I walk in there, and here is this N64 with all of its cables, except this one, which, mind you, I already found 2 of, and these 2 controllers. Now, I am a bit of a controller collecting fiend, so I wanted these 2 to add to my collection, and this I don't care so much about. But it was $30 for all of it together. You can see it has a 1, 2, 3 price tag on it. They match, and each one of these price tags says 1 of 3. So I was happy to pay $30 for this because these would have cost me way more than that. I'm going to add these to my collection. I'm either going to sell this or just take it in and get trade-in credit for, which is something I do a lot of. I have videos that are more trade-in related than just thrift related, so go check out the rest of my channel and watch some of those. They're a good time. But that was the last thing I got, and that is definitely the thing I'm most excited about today. More so the controllers than the actual console. But I don't know. How do you feel? What do you think the best thing that I found today was? I'd say that Mass Effect trilogy was a nice runner-up. So there you guys go. There's another thrift haul video. And I'm going to go ahead and say that my favorite thing that I brought home today was these N64 controllers. So you guys let me know in the comments below what your favorite thing was that I brought home. I would say a nice runner-up for me was the Mass Effect trilogy, because I'm definitely going to play that real soon. But also, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button next time I post a video like this, you'll get a notification, and you can come back and hang out with me then. And until then, guys, peace out.
Hey, I'm a shark with a top hat, and I think you should subscribe. Go ahead, hit the button. I'll wait. Okay, bye.